Go to it and hear about how I structure my presentation for afterwards.
Yes.
So that has been a tool already. So thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Well, it's, as I say, it's up on YouTube, so anybody can view it.
No, it was a good idea. I thought I was apprehensive at first because I had never been on YouTube video.
Well, you're famous now, Carla.
I doubt it.
3 million hits as of this morning.
No, it needs to be a bit more meaty to go viral.
Yeah.
But I'd rather this. I'd rather a slow promotion. Believe me, I do not want to be notorious on YouTube.
Well, you never know.
At least not admitting to be a peace fellow, no.
That's right. Oh dear. So, well, the idea is that if more candidates approach me, there is something already there that they can see, or
Right.
there's a window to at least one person's experience as to what this was. And so for them, it's definitely going to be a tool. And I really never thought about it. So thank you, Peter. That was really good. Yes.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm glad it's working out.
Yes. All right. Are we then hoping to, for instance, have a regular program on foundation, another regular program on, I mean, we can have it, I guess, a number of programs. Yeah.
We can do any kind of a program that we want, show video, do whatever we want to do, and people can be a speaker from anywhere in the world. We could have somebody from RI come on our meeting and give a presentation. You know, all they have to do is be sitting at their desk in Evanston.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's actually a great idea as well. We can have someone from Evanston join us. True.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, we're really not using this tool like we should, I don't think.
Yeah. Not to its full capacity
No.
in any way.
No,
Yes.
no, not at all. Yeah.
Now, I noticed that there's been some changes into this program itself. I think it's more straightforward now to join in. So the last link that you sent on the flyer, that went straightforward. There was no mucking around. So I think that's already, has changed recently, or that has always been like that?
That's always been the case, and I don't know why people have had problems in the past. I think it's because they try to go in through Zoom, or they try to log in differently somehow, and that may be the case. But no, the link should just take you to the meeting.
Oh, I mean, this time was absolutely in one go. I was in, so I joined in like about 45 minutes ago to make sure that I wasn't going to be late this time, but this time worked beautifully. So that was great.
Well, that's great. You've got a great connection today. I mean, there's no interruption at all.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, it's
good.
early
Yeah.
morning here. Yes.
Yeah.
It's great.
Now, I'm glad I have David on the screen, because I commented very cheekily on a picture that he posted the other day, or a former RI convention where he was next to very beautiful ladies dressed in this sort of a folk costume. Where was that, David?
If it was from a long time ago, that would have been from Munich. That would have been the first RI convention I went to.
Right. So I asked David on the stream sort of postings whether that was sort of costume day and the ladies were dressed in some kind of dance outfit and he was dressed as Inspector Gadget because he had a trench coat on.
I had picked up a fancy-dancy outfit, and I was concerned about freezing my butt off over in Europe in May years ago, and that fortunately didn't happen for me. It didn't get chilly until I got to the North Sea on the north end of Germany. But that was the closing celebration. They had an imitation Oktoberfest for the Rotarians to say goodbye to them, similar to what they did in Brazil last summer. They had a imitation
Carnival, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. But I commented in the sense that I thought, well, if it's costume day, he went like Inspector Gadget.
I'll send you a picture of myself and Elena wearing the outfit in Rio. We filmed some of those outfits in the Samodromo.
That would be a thing to withhold.
Oh, it was.
Cool.
We're going to do a presentation about Rotary. Robin's already given us permission about the upcoming convention in Atlanta. And we're going to ask all the members who have been to Rotary conventions to be there to talk about their experiences and answer questions from members who are thinking about going to Atlanta next year.
That'd be good. Yeah.
We have an early sign up kicking in a few weeks, and we get 50% off on the sign up if you do it early in the first few weeks. So I'll do the sign up, make sure, see whatever the bugs, issues, problems are, so that at least I'm able to sound semi-intelligent when we start talking about it. In the past, you've been able to cancel without any charge. So I think if we can get everybody to sign up, and if, Robin, if you know anybody in the Atlanta area who could tell us about some of the better hotels near the convention center, we could arbitrarily pick that one for the E-Club.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have too many people up there, but you know, that guy that we met on the district conference cruise, Mark.
Yep.
He would be able to guide us, I'm sure.
Okay, I'll put it out to the membership and to him.
Okay, cool. And you saw Lena's going anyway. I copied you on her email to me. I sent out something during the week, and she wrote back saying, yeah, she was going to go, and I'll go, and you're going. So that's 3 so far, and I'm sure Julia will probably be going with the whole family. So, yeah.
What did the district governor announce his choice of hotel yet?
No, I haven't heard anything from the district.
Okay, so be it.
Yeah, not yet. Good. So,
should we wait a few more minutes before we start?
Okay, good.
No, should we?
Pardon?
I said, should we wait a few more minutes?
I'd give it another minute or 2, yeah.
Okay.
So we start at, say, yeah, 5 past, 6 minutes past.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
One other thing, I got the shirts that I'd been talking about. I bought some. A local club got them here, and they got them embroidered here. And I said, oh, those shirts might be nice for us. So I was able to get them cheap, and I sent 3 of them down to Our Lady in Tampa, and she has sent them back. This is the shirt.
Very nice.
With our logo on it, and I've got a gray one and another one, and I think we can get them for about $20. Lynn will be circulating, you know, the order sheet and the colors and the sizes for ladies and gents. So they're nice, they're lightweight, that's kind of that dry wick stuff. So if you like that, that's fine. Okay. But we should be able to do them for about $20 plus shipping. Good. That'll be it. So we'll get some pictures and get them into the meeting and get them out to everybody.
Good.
Just give it up for what it's worth just now. Cool.
Well, you know that dry week for ladies is like the height of fashion. I mean, we can't wait to get our hands on some of that dry week stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Andrew from RC Wellington. Did you see that?
Yeah, Andrew is a friend of mine. He's a former member of the Bal Harbour Rotary Club like myself, and he's contemplating applying for membership. I've offered to sponsor him. I sent him the link, and I guess he's playing how to get on.
Okay, there's a chat button on here with one person on it. What's that telling me?
Hold on a minute.
Can you see that, Peter?
I'm looking right now.
I'm seeing on the bottom of my screen it says chat.
Yeah. Hook into that, David. Sorry, Peter?
Yeah, I see it.
Can you respond? If that's the guy, can you respond to him and see if he can, if we can get him on? It says we have 5 participants. 1 must be on chat.
Okay, hang on a second. Chat, I've got 2. Okay.
That was just me, just responding to Andrew. Well, it looks like Andrew is slowly contemplating how to get in.
Well, he's on iPhone. He's on an iPhone.
Does iPhone have a...
It's coming from his iPhone.
Peter, you want to respond to him?
Yes.
How to do it? His name is Andrew.
Oh, he can see us. Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Andrew, welcome. Try to figure out how to get the video up and going. And Peter Vaca is the expert in all things of technology, so he'll tell you how to do this. Can you also hear us when we're speaking, Andrew? Peter, you can talk to him. He can hear what you're saying.
Andrew, have you downloaded the Zoom app on your iPhone?
Tell him how to test the video.
If he brings it up on his iPhone, it should just work automatically when he goes to the link. I think I'm getting Morse code. Or is that somebody who's nervous?
Okay. He wants us to go ahead, so that's fine. He will catch up.
Okay, let's go. So, Peter.
Okay. Well, we're very pleased and very proud.
Oh,
to have
one second. One second.
The
Let's start the meeting.
Yes.
In session.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. So, I think we'll start off this evening. Andrew, if you can hear us, and hopefully you can. Carla Castellanos is a member of our club and is a Rotary Peace Fellow. And she has a brief presentation. And Carla, I'm going to let you introduce your video before we start.
All right. Thanks very much, Peter, Mr. President, and all the other members of the club. I'm sure this might be available for other members to see afterwards in any case, if they missed it at this point. So the idea began as us trying to promote some foundation programs. I've been privileged enough to be a recipient twice of Rotary scholarships, and we thought that this was a good topic to have the members during a Zoom session to log in and test this, as perhaps in the future we're going to do a few more of this type of presentation. So my presentation just deals with my experiences as a both Rotary Ambassadorial Scholar and as well as a World Peace Fellow. So we have a video, and in 20 minutes we'll be able to answer any questions the attendees might have.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Carla. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here a minute. Okay, here we go.
All right, I'm on. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to make this presentation. I think we've had the idea for a while, and I thank Peter for making this possible with all his great knowledge of technology. The presentation has basically two parts. I'll be speaking first a little bit about myself. Usually when I go to Rotary clubs, this gives them an insight of who could be a good candidate if they were looking for the next Rotary World Peace Fellow to sponsor. So I talk a little bit about myself to give an introduction to the audience. And then the second part of the presentation really then discusses a little bit more in depth, the Rotary World Peace Fellowship. The idea is that after today's presentation and after the introduction, which is the part one, you also have a little bit more knowledge of what the World Peace Fellowship entails. So with your permission, the President and all of you Rotarians participating or listening, we'll hold questions at the end. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in a small town in the northern coast of Honduras. I am one of 3 girls, and what you see there on to your right would be the picture of our wedding 3 years ago now. My husband and I married in Italy, and I'm very lucky to have a wonderful family back home and have started a new family now in Australia. So I grew up in Honduras, and education opportunities there are not as available. So I went back to the United States, where I had been born. I did the architectural program at University of Miami. And when I was there doing my education, I got involved in a program called the United Nations Model, which is a student simulation. It's a 2,000 student simulation at the heart of, well, we actually get the chance to be at the General Assembly in the United Nations. So for a whole week, we do a complete simulation of all UN proceedings. I was a delegate to the UN development program. So when I was doing this program, one of my advisor for this program said to me, Carla, I have a very wonderful opportunity for you. You should explore. He was a Rotarian, and he told me all about the Rotary Ambassadorial Scholar. So I was very lucky to be able to represent Rotary International District 6990 and go study an advanced program in urban design in Rotary District 1090, and I was afforded the opportunity to study at the Oxford Brookes University. And I did a whole year studies there. So my duties as a Rotary Ambassador Scholar took me to speak to many countries because I never said no. So my host club of Windsor St. George, which was around Windsor Castle in the UK, which is very exciting. All of the activities surrounding the royal calendar. So they said to me, well, why don't you go and speak to our sister club in Germany at Goslar Northhurst? And I said, yes. And then during the break, between the first and second semester, I went to and I spoke to Cairo Samalek Club. And while I was doing my issues project down in Ecuador at Guayaquil, I went to visit the Guayaquil Club of Guayas in Ecuador. And when it was time to research and document my thesis for my program, I went down back to Honduras and sort of study a number of communities affected by disaster. So what you're seeing on the screen now is a study, an urban regeneration study that I was conducting in Guayaquil, Ecuador. And that shows you what communities look like when there's a disaster like El Niño and 250,000 individuals get displaced and they have to flood their flooded areas and going to safely into the city. So what they do is they take over the edge of rivers, they build in areas, and they destroy the natural environment. So one of the areas that I was actually working on was Guayaquil, the very best area of Guayaquil. It was a historic center of Guayaquil that had been taken over by Spanish. So we had to walk into this area with armed guards, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to be safe. In fact, we were held at gunpoint at one point. But what you see there now is that after working with the locals and doing this project with the university, the concept that you see on the right became reality. The community got together and regenerated their community. So this was my year as an ambassadorial scholar. So you can imagine what I have seen. I have seen the world, so many different clubs, and I have Rotary. So when I came back to South Florida after that year in Europe and traveling, my eyes were open. I was so changed. And that's when I heard about the Rotary East Centers. That was then in 2001, a brand new opportunity or a brand new project that Rotary had. And I said, that is for me. I'm going to apply. I'll be the perfect candidate. I just know everything about Rotary and I want to do this. And sure, I did apply and I did not get it because it was so competitive. So the first time I applied, I did not get it. But Rotary did not send me a letter that said, do not apply again. And I took that as a sign that I should apply again. So I persisted, and yes, they gave it to me the second year. And the purpose of this scholarship is really Rotary's commitment to advance research in peace and conflict resolution. And I provide advanced international education opportunities. You see later in the presentation that it's really an international program. And a lot of the recipients are individuals from developing countries. So the funding for these programs, as I said, is a global effort. It's an international program. The way it's done is that it's funded by every Rotarian's individual contribution to the district designated funds. And these funds go to help and fund not just the Rotary Ambassadorial Scholar, which is now changed to fund not only the Rotary World Peace Fellowship, it goes to fund a number of projects and programs that are of educational nature. So it is truly everyone's contribution to the Rotary Foundation assists in funding these programs around the world. So being a global effort, it actually helps to allow those who are from developing countries to begin or to be able to fund candidates from their district, because the funds do not come directly from each club. So that allows every district in the world to put forward a candidate each year. And this is really the reason why a lot of candidates come from developing countries, because being so even, being already from a pool of funds, allows candidates that otherwise wouldn't be able to send candidates over. That allows districts to fund each year a candidate. Now, the selection process obviously is quite tough. Even if every district in the world put forward a candidate, there are only a certain number of Peace Fellows selected each year. And they're distributed into two different programs. One is the more traditional 2-year program in one of the 7 centers across the world, which is a 15 to 24-month program with a 2 to 3 year applied field experience between the first and the second year. The second program is a 3-month program, and this is held in one center only, which is the University of Chulalongkorn in Thailand. So that program is shorter. That's designed for individuals who may already have a profession. They may already have experience in conflict resolution, and they just want to do a course or a certificate. So where are these centers? The centers are very important because they're very prestigious in their own right. They are held within larger universities that are already quite established. So the first one is University of California in Berkeley, Duke University. Actually, the second center is held as a combination of 2 universities. University of Duke University and University of North Carolina, they each have 5 World Peace Fellows each year, and they do activities in combination. So following across the globe, we have a new center at the University of Uppsala in Sweden. This was a university that recently got included in the group because the University of El Salvador in Argentina actually did not meet the expectations of Rotary, and it was then closed. Now, following up, we have the University of Bradford, they concentrate on security issues. Candidates or scholars that want to study security matters, or they go there. We have Christian University in Tokyo, the Center for Chulalongkorn, which is the center where the smaller program is held, and the University of Queensland. Now, I went to the University of Queensland, hence that's how I ended up here in Australia. And
Wow.
The center, I picked it because not only they were going to allow me to do my electives in development, which is close to my original field of studies in architecture and urban design, but also because you must speak the language of the host country. And I had just come back from the UK, and the rules say also that I am not allowed to apply to a center within my country of origin, because the idea is that you want to promote the international and the cultivation of willingness across cultures. So the idea is that you cannot stay in your country of your origin. So ideally, I picked Australia, and I was very lucky to have picked that center. The program at University of Queensland is very thorough and tough. We have 2 years of intense training. We do everything from United Nations simulations. I actually did training in weapons of mass destruction. I did training in mediation. I did training in women's issues, development issues, governance. We had training in, obviously, theory of international relations. We did a lot of programs involving group study and interaction with all of our peers. So what you see on the screen is among the population, the regular population of the program, we had the 10 World Peace Fellows, and they came from all over the world. I'll give you a snippet of who they are in a minute. But who is a candidate? Who is Rotary looking to fulfill this role? Well, this is not a program for a person who just graduated out of high school. This is a program for someone who already has a calling in life. Usually the average age is, I think, 32, I think. And they have to have an interest in peace and conflict resolution. They have to have leadership, hence they are being picked to represent a district across the world, in another part of the world. They have to have already a certain level of education, and they have to have a profession. When I did this, you had to speak 3 languages, but they have relaxed this requirement. You have to speak English and another language, hopefully the one of your host country. You need to have at least a master's degree or 2 years of paid work experience. And you cannot be a Rotarian, a child or a grandchild of a Rotarian, because Rotary is not about helping themselves. And so what you see in front of you here is a snippet or a snapshot of who was a fellow in my intake, the 3rd intake. For instance, 59% were female. Citizens of low-income countries were in favor, up to 41% that year. We had a total of 65 scholars because they get distributed about 10 per each center. Now they have more because the Chulalongkorn Center takes up a good number of scholars. I think they go up to 100 nowadays. But you see the average age was 30. And the cross-section of who can do this program is very varied. They were students of various backgrounds. For instance, my fellows came from various countries, so got our first colleague from Israel. He was actually a theater major. And you will say, well, what does theater have to do with international relations and peace and conflict resolution? But he used to do theater camps for children in Palestine with Israeli kids so that they could learn to come together and do camps and resolve their problems and differences as children, so that perhaps when they grow up, they would be better individuals or learn how to solve their problems better. So the program also includes a applied field experience. So it means that between the 1st year and the 2nd, you will do an internship yet in a 3rd country. So imagine I went from the US to Australia, and in between the first and second year, I went to do my internship in India. Jude from the UK went to do the internship along with Larissa, who was from Finland. They went to Islamabad, Pakistan to work in refugee camps. Dao, who was from Thailand, went to do his internship in the Tibetan government in exile in India. Santosh was from India and stayed in Australia doing his internship with the Corruption Commission in Australia. And Michael, who was from Japan, went to Oslo to learn about elections observations. So can you imagine, after a year of intense training, you go yet to a second year, to a second country, and get this 3 months of amazing experience? How does the second year work with everybody coming back with amazing experiences, having been in the field, not only learning theoretical and empirical information, but actually being in the field and being observers of how peace and conflict resolution actually works. So the second year is actually thrilling. It's just people come back with such open minds and bringing all that experience together.
Nice.
So I was lucky that I was accepted to do my internship in a local grassroots NGO in Coimbatore, in the Perur block, which is a rural block in the south of India. Coimbatore is referred to as the Manchester of India because of its former textile industrial sort of character. But I went to work with a grassroots program that actually empowered these communities, these rural communities. They did programs for children. They work with local women to teach them computers or sewing or actual crafts and other training to help them be self-funded. They sponsor a lot of self-help groups, and I'll show you and discuss some of them in a minute. But mainly they try to do poverty alleviation and cultural programs to keep alive and really celebrate the local culture. So I had the chance to be to assist with my skills in various of the programs. So the one you see here is a self-help group, women that put together a very small, get a loan and put together a very small type of business, like a shoe stall in front of a temple. I was also doing a lot of surveying of communities or families in need, those that will be the recipient later of some programs, local programs. They do Balachanti program, which is they provide daycare for mothers that work in the fields. And I was asked to talk to a lot of student groups. They love to ask me to talk to student groups, and invariably, which was a shock for me, they will ask me to sing. And so I had to become acquainted to a couple of songs to fulfill the request for singing. But I also participated in a lot of Rotarian programs and visits. It was a wonderful year. So when I came back to Australia to finish my degree, I had been a recipient of so much knowledge and so many experiences. I cannot tell you what it feels to be part of a group like that. It's empowering. And after graduation, I had the opportunity to go and work in Southeast Asia. But by then, this program had really empowering and open opportunities for me, but also transformed my life in the sense that it gave me leadership abilities. It allowed me to have the confidence to work in multicultural environments. I had, I was almost fearless in a way, because in my first job, I had to go and do a project in Sri Lanka, and they had been at the time some bombings by the Tamil Tigers, and my boss wouldn't go. He would chicken out. And I said, I don't mind. Tell me. I know how to deal with these things. And so I remember my confidence had really soared, and the exposure of world issues had allowed me the opportunity to really expand my mind and understand better how to apply my skills, even in the most difficult of situations. So that's what that program did for me. It really allowed me to understand how to apply my calling, what I knew already how to do, but in a different environment with different skills. And today, I use those skills on my daily work, because I now work as an urban designer and as an architect in Sydney, but most of my projects are in areas that are derelict. Urban designers never get called to fix what's beautiful already. We get to be called to areas that need regeneration, that need empowerment. So I've had the pleasure to work with some more Aboriginal communities that have some issues due to conflicts between the European heritage communities and the Aboriginal community. And that is still present in many parts of the world. That is not exclusive to Australia, but it happens. And so those are the areas that I get the opportunity to work in. And here are some local projects. But since then, I've been very privileged to receive a Paul Harris Fellow from the hands of Bob Roderick Scott, who was the Foundation Trustee Chair. And this was donated to me by the Rotarians back in District 990. And I also become Australian now, so I'm a dual or tri-citizen of the world, because I was also a citizen of Honduras, as you might know. And I continue to participate in local projects for Rotarians, including a local sort of a simulation of the United Nations proceedings at a high school level. This is probably the end. I have come to the end of my presentation. I try to keep it to 20 minutes. And all I want to say, and I always say at the end of my presentations, is that I feel very privileged to have the opportunity to do all these wonderful programs. And that I only hope that through my work, through the work that I do every day, that I continue to be a mirror of all the light that Rotary and new Rotarians have shown me in my life. Thank you very much. So I think at this point we'll go back to the live session, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you all may have. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you.
What an accomplished young lady. Wow.
Hardly. All thanks to Rotary.
A fantastic production. Great. Just great. Great.
Thanks to Peter.
Even people coming to view this will still get the same thing. Like, there's such a diversity in it, and all the places that your class came from. I was just looking at the crisscrossing and that. It's fantastic. I don't think we really understand this program. The average Rotarian just doesn't understand it.
I think that you're right. I find that it's still a mystery to a lot of Rotarians what really happens in each of the centers. And that's why I get a very good audience every time I go see different clubs and I present and I do my presentation, and they get marveled about what this really is. And the diversity and how many people come from different parts of the world, it's not an accident. That is actually designed that way. And I think that Evanston takes a great deal of care to make sure that each center is represented or receives candidates from all over the world. That way, not only enhances the program, but it allows that experience to really be shared. So when people go back home, they actually have lots of experiences to share, not just from the host country, but from those individuals that came from other parts of the world.
Wow.
Well, Andrew, we want to welcome you aboard.
Let's see if I can get on the.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Well, welcome. it's great to be here. It was a great speech. I really enjoyed it, and it's nice. This is great. I teach online. I teach on ground, and so this is a great format and something I'm definitely interested in. And didn't know much about it until David sent me some emails, and here I am. So this is really exciting that you can do this, and it's really great that Rotary International is really getting behind e-clubs, and it's better the e-club than an e-cigarette, I assume. But at least they don't explode. Usually that's David's humor, not mine. I know David 35 years, so I have to admire his humor, and he can tell you.
You know David for how long?
Over 35 years.
God help you.
I know. I don't know who was in Rotary first in Bal Harbour. I think I was, and he came right behind me. But we've been good friends for many, many years. I know he moved on. I moved on. I'm in 6930 now in Wellington, Florida. But it's a nice club. But like all of us, I work a lot, and it's a lot. It's hard to make a lot of meetings. So this is really an incredible way to do this from your home or whatever, or office, and great talk tonight. I think we did fellowships in our last club, conflict resolution and everything. So it's really important, and it's correct what she says, that a lot of clubs and even districts don't really know about this. I think since they changed a lot of things around in Evanston, this is now under a certain area, and a lot of clubs either don't have the money for it or don't know how to go about doing it. I know David will tell you in our past districts, this was a really important thing, and now it seems to have sort of floundered and kind of gone to the wayside a little bit. So I don't know too much in your district if this is something that is continuing on and so forth, because as I know, even in 6930 where I am, we don't see much of this. So I'm hoping that this is something that is continuing on and doing well for the future, and clubs like this and districts will get behind it.
Yeah. Is there something specific that we as an aid club could do, Carla? Can you give us some guidance? Maybe not right now, or maybe David or Peter have an idea. Like, we're not a big club, we're not a wealthy club, we don't pass the hat, but we can always come up with 500 or $1,000 maybe to put towards a project, and think about it.
Well, the good news is that the funds are already there. The way it's been designed is that some of your contributions already go to the district designated funds that fund these programs. This is the real shame that the program, the scholarships get passed and unused, perhaps, because the way it's been designed is so that every district in the world, being from a developing country or from a developed country, can put forward a candidate each year. So that is very even, and it doesn't favor those countries that obviously can afford to send candidates more often than others. So the issue is that the funds are already there. And why this program is not more popular is because people don't know about it and don't put forward a candidate. I remember in District 6990, where my sponsoring district, they were very organized. They will seek candidates each year, and they will, in fact, have to host interviews because of the number of candidates that they had applying every year. So it's about promotion. And what I do sometimes is I actually go to high schools. I actually go and talk to Rotary clubs, because by the time they are graduating, they already need to have a focus in mind that they need to have this in the radar. because by the time you try to reach someone who's starting their career, they finish university and they're starting their career, they might already have no chance to put off their career for 2 years and then to do this program. Thankfully now we have the certificate, which is the smaller program, and that helps those individuals who may not be able to commit for 2 years, but they might be able to commit for 3 months and go to Thailand and do the small certificate. But the thing is, the incredible thing is that if you start telling people early on, they keep it in mind and they say, well, I do want to make time, I do want to plan my scholarship, or I want to plan my education to be able to have the room or the space to apply for this. So reaching people early on and having a commitment to always sponsor someone is perhaps what is going to keep these programs alive, because it's not about funds. The funds are already there, and it's been designed that way so that each district in the world can put forward a candidate. Unlike the ambassadorial scholarships, which used to come out of the funds of each club, this scholarship is different. The funds come from everyone's donations, and it's easier to sponsor someone. So it's just spreading the word, really, and making others know that this is available.
Yeah. Well, Carla, I think one of the suggestions I would have is that as a club, we could use social media and perhaps do webinars for people of the age who are already online and acquaint them with this program. We can play them your video, and we can get them excited and interested, and then maybe get them involved where they stay in touch using social media. And they tell others. I mean, I think we're just missing an opportunity here.
Absolutely, because it's promotion and promotion at the right levels, what's going to get people interested. The more demand there is, the more scholarships will continue to be available.
David?
Having sponsored 2 ambassadorial scholars, one of whom accepted the program, I can tell you there's some amount of time involved in this process. I'm not willing to do it for our club. Who is willing to be the sponsor in our club?
That's a good question.
Now, when you say sponsor, I'm not sure what you mean, David.
There is somebody in the club who needs to shepherd through the paperwork and the coordination to get somebody from the point of, yeah, I'm interested, to actually getting all the paperwork done with RI with the district. It's not a
more in terms of program. Is that what you were talking about, Carla, rather than ambassadorial scholarship?
Well,
okay. David makes a valid point, because I remember all the paperwork that I had to do as a applicant, right? I had to do piles of paperwork. But you're right, there's got to be someone at the club, I suppose, that then takes all the information, fills out the application on behalf of the club to Rotary International, or conducts the interview, or creates a panel of members, club members that then want to be part of the interview panel. And so, yes, I assume, and I was naive to say that it's a matter of just promotion. David is right. I'm sure there's a lot of work that was done from the club side to be able to sponsor me to go abroad. Yeah. There are, for instance, at least in 6990, where David and I come from, there was a sort of a scholarship chair who was just absolutely very informed, on top of everything. That's what they did as a district, to be able to then sponsor someone. So, but the role of the club was to then forward the applicant's application to them. So who would be in our district the right person to, or the foundation coordinator, because our role as a club would be to gather the applicant and put him in the right path. Would that be the case, David? Am I correct about saying that?
There is going to be a district committee put together by the incoming district governor, but still we need to have a person or persons in the club who are the go-to people when things fall between the cracks, things get ignored, someone shows up, they say, oh my God, we need this piece of paper, we need it now, and the applicant is maybe on vacation, not immediately available, or their email changed. So there's someone who needs from the club, has to be monkey in the middle.
I think maybe from our point of view, because we're in so many different districts, that if we could spread the word through the Rotaract and Interact clubs and some of the local clubs in our own areas, and be a little stimulus somewhere and guide somebody onto the next level if they're interested, be it with a regular club that have the same guy has been secretary for 10 years, where we keep changing or having difficulty getting people to step up. I think that the logistics might be a problem, but I don't think that would prevent us from getting the word out in our own areas, in the clubs we visit, and we can make a point of going to local Rotaract or Interact clubs.
Mr. President.
Sure.
And everybody. I did this for a year. I know Carla. I don't know, Carla, if I was on the committee when you came on. I know I was on afterwards in 6990, and I was chair for 2 years. One thing we forgot here, and it's still the case too, don't forget there are deadlines that come down from RI. So there are deadlines when paperwork has to be submitted to the district and so forth and so on. So we have to see what those deadlines will be for the incoming year starting July 1st. But that's kind of easy to do, and then take it through the year and so forth. Now, if I can come on and perhaps I know it's a little premature, but I would be happy to help out on this because I certainly am looking to hopefully be a member come July 1st and beyond. So with my experience doing that, I would be happy to be a liaison with that. But also, Mr. President, one other thing, you might also talk to incoming District Governor DG, and perhaps also Rotary RLI might be a good point. District next assembly, which obviously is not going to be for a while, and conference. So those would be some really good points to get this, or somebody to speak about it, or maybe even have Carla's video played at that point, to all the Rotarians in attendance, which might be good. It's a great video, and I think, like you say, we have to get it out there to the district and also to other districts.
Yeah, I think that might be our main role, is pushing the others out there, pushing it out there, creating some awareness. I think that would be a good role for us. And I noticed that the deadline is April to June or something like that.
I think so. I think it's still that. I would have to look. Haven't dealt with it for a while, but as long as we're within the deadlines and how many candidates and doing interviews, and Carla knows that, and I think David knows a bit about that too. But and then obviously you as being president, talking to the incoming DG or the past DG and finding out, and obviously the chairs in the district, and finding out how perhaps we as a E-Club could help out with that, even online, and be a liaison and what they want us to do. I think we really could get it out there. You're right, this is tap talent, what they do with what Carla's done, and also with conflict resolution. A lot of this is really going to school on the master's level. I mean, going to, just learning and so forth. It's incredible. And I think it's really paid for a year. It's, what is it, $30,000, $40,000. Carla did it over 10 years ago, and it probably is more now. I mean, it's an incredible experience for somebody. And I think so many Rotarians don't know about it. We talk about it in RLI. I do teach RLI. I did it 6990, not 6930. So I do that, but we don't talk enough about it. So I'm really glad to be on the call tonight. And any way I can help you with this, because it's sort of, it's a gem that we don't do enough about.
Yeah, what we need to develop is a one-page cheat sheet, so that when David, who is anyway very knowledgeable, but me, I'm a plonker, I need a cheat sheet that I can take up and I can stand up and say something in meetings that I go to up here regularly. Same with you, Peter. Maybe you can talk about it a bit more, but a bunch of bullet points that talks about this opportunity. I think
let's put our
Maybe
caps on.
follow it up by a call to action and tell them what they need to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I do is, that's what I do. I go to I do my fellowship here in Australia, and I go to clubs and I speak about these programs and I spread the word. And then once in a while, I get a club calling me, says, we have a candidate. Can you talk to them? And I say, absolutely. And that's where I think my strength is. I can guide these candidates through my experience about what would be their next step. So I can coach them, and I'll be happy to receive anyone's call or hook online or have a chat, or keep track, because I do this, I've done it a number of times. Candidates come to me and says, well, I'm interested. And I say, absolutely, this is the next thing you need to do. So I can guide them through that, or I can participate in the interview process. But remember that part of the process to get ready to go on to the scholarship is that the candidate needs to have a host club, a club where they go to regularly, and they also need to complete about 12 Rotary meetings or 12 presentations before they go, 12 Rotary presentations while they are on the program, and then 12 presentations in the district when they come back, again, to try to spread the word and to create those links of fellowship. So I can see a candidate joining us in our e-meeting once or twice, but then they also need the interaction with the regular clubs in the district. So
Yeah.
while we are not going to be the host club 100% of the time, I think that they need we need to form an alliance with a sister club or a number of clubs that will be willing to do the hosting or the sponsorship in terms of receiving the candidate, spreading, sharing fellowship. But I think that what we could be is enablers. We can spread the word, and as e-clubs, we can reach a different variety of groups. But the candidates are also going to need to have that direct connection and traditional fellowship with these sort of clubs in the district.
Mm-hmm. And that's even a point that I always make with people coming in, that you might be a member of an e-club, but nobody's going to come knocking on your door to invite you anywhere. You got to go out and mix with a local club or civic organization if necessary, because we all need that fellowship as well. It's critical, and you hit the nail on the head from the point of view of us being the host club for one of these guys, but we can help somebody along the way. Yeah, cool.
Sure. All right.
Well, Carla, thank you very much. It was very informative.
Thank you. You have endured the presentation twice, so.
Thank you very much, Carla.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you all.
Maybe you can be the person that can give me the 10 or 15 bullet points that I can.
No problem.
Talk about when I go somewhere. Because one of the clubs I was at on last Tuesday, when I talked to them about this, and they sent out the email to all their members, we didn't see any of it. They told me they had a Peace Corps nominee or candidate or whatever, and I said, gee, that guy should be on.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to go back and talk to them now next week. Yeah, another early morning breakfast.
I'll be able to put together for you that cheat sheet with bullet points for you to speak to, and also a little brochure to spread around when you go to meetings.
Yeah,
We'll post it up on the club website as well, where people can download it.
Absolutely. I can provide that maybe within the next week or two.
Sure. Great stuff. Thanks a million, Carla. I'll be responding to your emails.
Thank you, Carla.
Mike, thank you for joining us, Mike. We look forward to seeing your signature on the bottom line, as I say. Thanks for introducing Mike, David. Peter, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you all.
Very interesting presentation. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
you.
Everyone.
What's that?
Ding.
Happy weekend. Goodbye.
Thank you
you,
all.
everybody. Dave, I'm going to call you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Wow.
Yeah, that went well, I think.
That was very good. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks.
Well, good. Listen, Robin, you take care, and I'll post this up on the website.
Okay, I haven't done today's meeting yet shit, I forgot about it, but I'll get to it. I'll get it up shortly. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
And Mr. President, can I give you a call? I have some questions, so maybe next week if I can call you and.
You can call me anytime. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to call and go over a couple things with you, and if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Where are you living?
I live in Wellington, Florida. That's by West Palm Beach.
Ah, okay.
I used to live.
Everything down there is Miami to me. I'm up here in so.
Now, when you say Caribbean, what Caribbean countries are you associated with?
Our club covers zone 33 and 34.
Oh, wow.
So all the Caribbean islands is there. We're registered in 6950
Okay.
in the Tampa area, but we have Carla's a member in Australia. We have some members in Germany, and then Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, Georgia, and scattered around Florida, Melbourne, Hollywood, and then there's a cluster in the Tampa area, and we tend to have a meeting maybe once a year so that we can have a bit of fellowship. Because when I joined at first, I was in the club 3 years before I met another member.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I did see, is there a Northwest E Club I saw online?
There is, based up in the Jacksonville area.
Okay, well that's kind of far. And they pretty much do the same thing, huh? Or
well, the same thing, but I think they're into more meetings. They're in a more localized area club, and they can get together. Whereas we're spread all over the place.
Yeah, I kind of like this. This is very interesting.
It's a nice international flavor.
It's great. And I haven't talked to David for a while, so I have to give him a call too. So else he'll.
Cool. Good.
But this is great. I have a couple questions I want to ask you. As I said, I really enjoy my club, but it's just really hard. I teach at a local university. I teach marketing and business in Boca Raton, so it's kind of hard with my classes and schedule. And I have a luncheon club, and it's just really hard. And there you have to pay all the dues throughout the year, and it's kind of a waste of money if you just can't make meetings. So
yeah. So it's a good way to stay with Rotary. I was a regular guy, and I just couldn't make the meetings anymore.
Right.
Who's got time for a 2-hour lunch anymore?
Yeah, that's true, especially when you're busy, and it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to it's not so hard to do makeup meetings because they have breakfast and dinner a lot of places. But then you're kind of in different clubs and meeting different people, and you're not really getting much accomplished because as far as if they're working on projects and things like that, it's
the key to being in our club is to know what's going on in your district, so you can get involved with clubs in their projects down there and work with them.
Okay.
Like we all do that kind of thing, and we're used to going to another club. For a brand new person coming to Rotary to an E club, it's a bit of a step because you got to get them to go to regular clubs as well. They got to see the action on the ground.
So there you just go and you just go there as a visiting Rotarian per
You're
se?
a visiting Rotarian.
Okay.
You're welcome anywhere, and you can participate in their projects.
Okay. That sounds great.
And you can pick and choose. You can be selective. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I still go. Right now I go to a Thursday morning meeting, breakfast, every Thursday.
Wow.
This club.
That's
because
great.
I like they're a great bunch of guys.
That's now one question too, and I used to do things in district in 6990, so I don't know how that would work because technically I would be part of the district, but I'm quite a bit away, so I don't even know what one could do district-wise if with an E-club. That I even haven't even thought about. Yeah.
Well, you just get involved in activities within your own district.
Okay. All right.
That's it, pure and simple. You volunteer or help them or do whatever. We can get into the whole lot of that.
Okay.
When we chat during the week, no problem.
I'll give you a call.
Don't ask me any technical questions because I'm a plumber.
No, I'll ask my other friend.
You can talk to Peter on the technical aspects of it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure he'll be great. Well, at least this was easy. It was great on an iPhone. You can do this anywhere. It's just really cool today.
Right. Yep.
Great stuff. Okay.
All right,
thank you.
I'm going to end the meeting, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great
Take
evening.
care.
Bye, everybody.
Take
Yeah.
care.
Bye-bye.